If you're looking to try out Linux, there are a lot of different distros you could delve into. My name is Yadullah, you're watching Candid.Technology, and in this video we're talking about Linux Mint, how you can install it on Virtualbox and how you can get it up and running. Now if you're interested in Linux, Linux Mint is a great alternative to Ubuntu or any of the other popular Linux distros, simply because it's extremely easy to use and it's extremely complete in the sense that you won't really have to go around fishing for downloads or drivers or anything of the sort. Most of the things that you will find that you would want to have a complete desktop experience are already present in Mint. Now, installing it in Virtualbox is also the same as installing Ubuntu. It's just that it doesn't come with a Virtualbox installer pre-made, so you're going to have to do some things manually. The first thing that we have to do is download Linux Mint. So you'll find the link to the website in the description below. Just go ahead and click download here. Now this will ask you which version of Mint that you want. So there are three main flavors. There's Cinnamon, there is XFCE, and there is Mate. Now what's the difference between the three? Cinnamon is the most modern version, has everything baked in, and it is primarily developed for and by Linux Mint. So as long as you have the PC specs to run it, which 99.9% of you will, go ahead and download Cinnamon. You can get XFCE. It is very light on resource usage, so it's practically the same. Doesn't support as many features as Cinnamon, but it's much lighter. And then of course the Mate edition, which is the continuation of GNOME 2, which is Mint's default desktop between 2006 and 2011. So it's kind of old, classic and traditional. I'm just going to go ahead with Cinnamon because that is the best Linux Mint experience, and that is what I'd recommend you do as well. So just go ahead and click the download button right here. So it's a 2.7 GB ISO file that we'll be downloading and then installing it. So we can verify it or whatever, and then here are all of our mirrors. So let me just find if there is someone near India maybe to get better download speeds. Yeah, right here. So let's go ahead and download it. Yes, please. And there we go, the download has started. This is from an old video. Okay, the download speed is not going to be the fastest. For some reason Linux download servers don't give you the best download speeds. I don't understand why, but I'll come back to you once this download is complete. Alright, so as you can see, I have now downloaded the ISO. So what we have to do now is go ahead and open Virtualbox. Press enter, give it a second to load up, and here we go. Alright, so now we're going to add a new virtual machine, or rather create a new virtual machine. Sorry about that. Let's name it Linux Mint Distro. Folder can be whatever you want, and this is where we have to select our downloaded ISO image, which is right here. Alright, so as you can see now, this will automatically detect everything. Let me just get rid of this. So now it knows everything what it has to do. It has already detected the OS type, and this can be installed unattendedly. So we are good to go. You can go ahead and just switch to expert mode if you want to do those settings, but we're going to keep this one simple. Click next. Now these are your username and passwords. So this already provides you a default username and password. I'm just going to rename it to root and password. The host name cannot have spaces in the middle, so I'm just going to change this to Mint host, and we are pretty much good to go. You can also install the guest additions right here. I have them downloaded and ready to go. Guest additions basically allow you to have additional functionality like drag and drop between the host and the guest and all of that stuff. Let me know if you want to make a video on just how to install guest additions and how to get that set up and working. But for now, we'll just move on to the next one. Now hardware, this is very important. Make sure that you provide at least 4 GB of RAM to your virtual machine. 4 GB because you know, it's a processor, it needs to run. I'm going to give it at least 2 cores, and I'm just going to increase the memory to 4096. You also of course need to have enough memory on your sort of host machine to get everything up and running, and of course have enough processor cores. If you don't have a good enough machine, you'll not be able to run virtual machines on it. So let's go ahead and click next. Virtual hard disk. So this is basically the virtual hard drive where everything gets stored, including where Linux Mint gets installed and things like that. You can use an existing one if you have. I'm just going to create a new virtual hard disk of 25 GB. It's better if you keep it somewhere around 50 GBs as a starter, but since I don't have a lot of space on my drive right now, I'm just going to go ahead with 30. And you can check the pre-allocate full size option if you wanted to just block out the entire 30 GBs there. If you leave the pre-allocate full size box unchecked, what this will do is that it will only allocate size that your virtual machine needs right now. So for example, if it needs let's say 10 GBs at the moment, it will allocate 10 GBs and leave the 20 unallocated, versus if you check this, it will allocate all 30 GBs to it, and that will be the end of it. So we'll go ahead and click next. This is a summary of everything. So EFI is disabled, so there are a few things that we still need to set up after this, and then go ahead and click finish to commit all of the wizard data. And now it will say can't run guest installation, which is fine, we don't need that. Go ahead and select this and go ahead and click on settings. So let's quickly take a look at some basic settings just to make sure that everything is in order. I want to enable the shared clipboard and drag and drop functionality. Disk encryption we don't want. System, everything seems good. Processor 2, execution cap, acceleration is fine. Display, this is important one, so make sure this max this out to 128. We don't need monitor counts, but if you want additional monitors, which basically means different windows, you can have that. Remote display and recording we'll just leave unchecked for now. Storage, so we have our drive, and this is where I'm going to select the Linux Mint Cinnamon ISO file that we just seen. So this is essentially inserted into the ISO. You can sort of leave this unchecked. If you just remove any disk, it will go ahead with the default installation drive, and it should work just fine. Audio network is all cool, so we'll go ahead and click OK. And now you can just click start to run the virtual machine, and let's see if it works without us adding the ISO to the virtual disk drive. So as you can see, it's powering the VM up. We'll give it a second. And our distro is hopefully starting. Okay, virtual machine failed to boot, might be caused by missing operating system. Alright, so we do need to give it a bootable medium. So we'll go ahead and select our Linux Mint drive from right here. And we'll just click on mount and retry reboot. Let's see, and there we go. Linux Mint is running. So you can now, from this point onwards, you can let me just zoom in. Yeah, you can either try and install Linux Mint, or you can just run it in compatibility or mode or whatever. I am just going to start it and run it off of the local drive. All right, so as you can see, our distro has started loading up. We'll just give it a second to load all of its stuff into memory. This is gonna take a while. And we should see the desktop any minute now. Alright, and here we are. So Linux Mint is now up and running on our virtual machine. Now, you can go ahead and use Linux Mint just like this. It's going to work just fine. Let me just launch the terminal and run a few commands for you. So my mint, so as you can see, the user that we created is working. If you want to go ahead and install it like you would on a regular system, just double click on this install Linux Mint option right here. Once again, this is kind of a slow system that I'm running this on, which is why it's taking a lot more time to load everything up, but you should be good to go depending on what is your system's sort of hardware infrastructure and things like that. But double clicking on the install Linux Mint option will start the installation process. So select the language, click continue, You get to choose all of your different languages and keyboard layouts. We'll click continue again. Install multimedia codecs, check that, click continue. So we'll prepare all Ubuntu drivers. So Linux Mint is actually based on Ubuntu, so a lot of the drivers and software support does carry over. And this will take a while. Okay, this is an important section. So this says this computer has no detected operating systems, which means our virtual machine has no operating systems. So simply speaking, just select the erase disk and install Linux Mint, because that's what we're going to do. Go ahead and click on install now and your installation will start. And that's how you can install Linux Mint on Virtualbox. If you like these videos, consider subscribing, give us a thumbs up, press the bell icon and tell us in the comments below what more such content can we make for you. If you'd like to know more about tech, visit our website Candid.Technology, follow us on social media, follow me on Instagram or Twitter, and we'll see you in the next video.